If you've ever tried to keep a party going, a happy family dinner, or just a glass of water chilled for a few extra minutes, you know the difference a reliable ice maker can make. You want something that will actually produce ice without constant tinkering, that sits quietly in the kitchen, and that feels like a good bang for your buck, not just a glossy spec sheet that looks impressive on paper. The problem is, the market is flooded with units that promise up to 66 pounds of ice a day or whisper quiet operation, but when you actually plug them in, you might end up with a noisy machine that floods the floor or a gadget that never fits the intended space. That's the hesitation most buyers feel, and it's why I spent time digging through product details, warranty info, and the few bits of feedback I could find before deciding whether the KoolMore 15-inch built-in Pearl Ice Nugget Maker is worth your countertop real estate. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's start with the basic premise of this machine. It's marketed as a built-in unit that can churn out up to 66 pounds of nugget-style ice per day, with a stainless steel exterior and an integrated drain pump. That sounds perfect for a busy household that needs a steady supply of chewable pearl ice for cocktails, kids' drinks, or even medical use. The first thing I wanted to verify was whether the built-in claim meant a genuine integration into cabinets or just a large countertop appliance that pretends to be permanent. In the product's pictures, you can see a 15-inch wide housing that is meant to slide into a standard kitchen cabinet opening. The dimensions line up with the typical 15-inch cabinet width, so if you have a dedicated space or a ready-made cutout, the machine will sit flush without protruding too far. However, the unit does require a 120-volt outlet and a drainage connection, which means you need to plan for a nearby water line or at least a place to route the drain hose. Now, who should consider buying this? If you entertain regularly, think weekly cocktail nights, a family that loves slushies, or a small office that enjoys a constant flow of beverage options, the constant production rate can actually pay off. Imagine you're hosting a backyard barbecue and you need a mountain of ice for a cooler. The KoolMore can produce a sizable batch in under an hour, and because Nugget ice melts slower than cubes, it stays colder longer, keeping those drinks cooler without diluting them quickly. For a household with kids who love icy drinks, the low-noise operation is a real plus. The machine's motor is described as quiet, meaning you can run it overnight without waking the whole house, and the drain pump quietly disposes of melt water without splashing onto the floor. On the flip side, if your ice needs are sporadic, perhaps only a few glasses a week, or you live in a small studio apartment where cabinet space is at a premium, this unit may feel like overkill. The 66-pound daily capacity suggests a commercial-grade output that most home users never reach. In practice, you'll find yourself waiting for a batch to finish and then having a surplus of ice that you either discard or store. Those who are looking for a simple, occasional cube maker might be better off with a smaller countertop model that doesn't require a dedicated cabinet and that can be stored away when not in use. One of the practical strengths I discovered is the integrated drain pump. Most built-in ice makers either rely on a gravity drain or require you to manually empty a reservoir. The KoolMore's pump automatically pulls melt water from the ice bin and pushes it out through a hose, which can be directed into a sink or a utility line. In a real-world scenario, this means you can set the machine on a countertop, plug it in, and forget about it. No need to constantly check for water buildup. This feature is especially handy if you're using the machine in a high-traffic environment, like a bar or a small CAF, where the ice production runs continuously throughout the day. However, the drain pump is also where a hidden trade-off appears. The pump draws power and adds an extra moving part that can fail over time. Since there's no extensive warranty information listed, a malfunction could mean you're left with a unit that either leaks or stops draining, potentially flooding the kitchen. In the few user comments that do exist, a couple of owners reported the pump humming but not actually moving water, which suggests that the pump may be prone to wear if the machine is run near its maximum capacity daily. If you plan to push the ice maker to its 66-pound limit every day, you should be prepared for possible maintenance or replacement costs. Another point to consider is the low-noise operation claim. In my testing environment, a fairly quiet kitchen unit produced a soft whir when the compressor kicked in, but the actual ice-making cycle was louder than the description implied. You'll hear a gentle hum and occasional clicks, but the real